Silence is not defeat. It's the sound of you rebuilding. Why are we so afraid of the quiet? From the moment we are born, we are conditioned to believe that noise is life. We are told that to be successful, we must be seen. To be powerful, we must be heard. We live in a world that suffers from a chronic fear of the void. We fill every second with scrolling, every silence with music, and every gap in conversation with meaningless words. But listen closely. The most significant shifts in the universe happen in total, crushing stillness. The tectonic plates that move continents do so without a sound. The stars burn with the power of 1 billion suns. And the man who is truly rebuilding his life, he does not do it in the town square. He does it in the shadows. If you have gone quiet, the world thinks you have surrendered. They see your absence as a white flag. They see your silence as a sign that the struggle was too much. But they are wrong. Your silence is not a white flag. It is a blueprint. It is the sound of your internal architecture being redesigned. There is a profound dignity in the fade. In an era obsessed with attention, choosing to disappear is the ultimate act of rebellion. Most people are terrified of being forgotten. They leak their energy every day, explaining their dreams to people who only want to see them stumble. They defend their choices to people who haven't even mastered their own lives. But the builder knows that energy is a finite resource. You cannot build a skyscraper while hosting a party on the construction site. You have to clear the room. You have to shut the gates. You have to put up the do not disturb sign and mean it. Think about the nature of a renovation. Before the new paint goes on, the old walls must be stripped. The dust is everywhere. The wires are exposed. It is ugly, it is messy, and it is uncomfortable. If you invited guests in during this stage, they would only see the chaos. They wouldn't understand the vision. This is why you must go quiet. You are in the demolition phase of your soul. You are removing the versions of yourself that no longer fit. Stop apologizing for your absence. Stop feeling guilty for not answering the phone. You are not antisocial. You are pro-growth. You are simply clearing the debris. The world calls it isolation. You should call it site preparation. You are making room for a foundation that can hold the weight of your future. We equate noise with progress, but often, noise is just the sound of friction and failure. The loudest engine is usually the least efficient. The person who screams the loudest about their goals is usually furthest from achieving them. Why? Because talking about a dream releases the same dopamine as achieving it. You lose the hunger. This is why silence is a superpower. Silence builds internal pressure. It creates a vacuum that can only be filled by action. While others are busy broadcasting their hustle, you are busy perfecting your craft. Their misunderstanding is your greatest protection. It allows you to work without the weight of their expectations. It allows you to fail in private, to learn in private, and to grow in private. True growth is invisible. It happens in the dark. It happens when no one is clapping. It happens at 4 a.m. when the only person watching is the version of yourself you haven't met yet. Success doesn't need a megaphone. It only needs a result. When the building is finished, you won't need to tell people. They will see it. To rebuild, you must reach the bedrock. Most people build their lives on the sand, on the opinions of others, on temporary trends, on the fragile ego of their youth. And when the storms of life hit, when the betrayal comes, when the money fails, when the health fades, the whole structure collapses. If you are in a season of silence, it is because life has stripped you down to your bedrock. It feels like defeat. It feels like you have nothing left. But the bedrock is the only place where a permanent structure can be built. In the silence, you finally hear the truth. You hear the parts of yourself that you've been drowning out with noise. You hear the regrets, the fears, and the weaknesses. And instead of running from them, you sit with them. You audit your spirit. You check the pillars of your beliefs. You ask, is this foundation strong enough? Is this foundation strong enough to hold my next 10 years? This is the work of a master architect. Amateurs want the applause before the structure is sound. They want the flashy exterior while the plumbing is still broken. But you are building for the long term. You are building a spirit that is so reinforced with truth that no amount of external noise can ever shake it again. A construction site is a dangerous place for spectators. They don't see the structural steel. They only see the dirt. They don't see the vision. They only see the mess. This is why you must remain silent. Silence protects the vision. Every time you share your blueprint with a small-minded person, they leave a fingerprint on it. They tell you it's too ambitious. They tell you it's impossible because they couldn't do it. They project their own fears onto your paper. Protect your blueprint. Keep your mouth shut. You don't owe the world a progress report. You don't owe anyone an explanation for why you changed your mind, why you left that city, or why you quit that job. You owe yourself a finished product. Privacy is power. When you work in the dark, you are the only one who knows the true scale of what you are building. You have the advantage of surprise. While they think you are at your lowest, you are actually at your most dangerous. Because you are becoming a version of yourself they won't recognize when you finally step back into the light. Rebuilding is an act of love. It is a statement that you are worth the effort. It is a realization that your past was just a rough draft, and you are now holding the pen for the final version. In the silence, you find a new kind of peace. It's not the peace of someone who has no problems. It's the peace of someone who has decided they are bigger than their problems. You start to find joy in the small things. The way the light hits the floor, the sound of your own breathing, the clarity of a mind that is no longer cluttered. You are learning to be your own hero. You are learning that you don't need a crowd to validate your existence. You are realizing that the silence wasn't a prison, it was a forge. It was the only place where you could be heated, hammered, and shaped into something unbreakable, brick by brick, day by day. The silence is not empty. It is full of the sound of progress. It is the sound of a heart being mended. It is the sound of a mind being sharpened. It is the sound of a man who has decided that he will no longer be a victim, but an architect of his destiny. One day the scaffolding will come down, the dust will settle, the barriers will be removed, and you will step out into the sun. People will ask, "Where have you been? How did you change so much? What is your secret?" You won't have to say much. Your presence will be the answer. There will be a weight to your words. There will be a stillness in your eyes. There will be a confidence in your walk that only comes from someone who has survived the void and come out the other side. You will look back at this time, this quiet, difficult, lonely time, and you will realize it was the most important part of your life. It wasn't the end. It was the beginning. It wasn't defeat. It was the birth of a masterpiece. You are the architect. You are the builder. And this is your time. Keep building. Keep going. In silence.